All right, so you are making quantum moves. What am I talking about in this video? Stay tuned and I'm going to tell you exactly what this video is about. But before we begin, I am Tamara Tamu. You have just reached another episode of Unleashed Alchemy. If you have been around here for the over 400 videos that I have uploaded, thank you. I celebrate you for being here, for sticking with me. There's so much more for us to talk about. We are going to keep going and keep moving as we all move into our spiritual elevation, into our spiritual liberation. If you are new here, if you're going to be watching the videos, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the like button on this video. Also hit the notification bell so as a subscriber, you will know when I release new videos, which I do 2 new videos every single week. That is a lot of content, but I have a lot of spiritual wisdom to share. So here we go. What am I talking about? You are making quantum moves. Listen, life after religious programming can feel like a challenge at the beginning. All right. There's a lot of nuances to that, to coming into your spiritual power after being indoctrinated for so long. And what I want to tell you is that you need to relax and allow yourself to move through things. So there's 2 key words that I want you to remember here, which I'm getting ahead of myself. I want you to remember relax, and I want you to remember through. Those 2 words. All right. What does this have to do with the title of You Are Making Quantum Moves? Let's get into it. Before that, I want to tell you a little story. All right. So I knew that even during the time when I was just rooted and stuck in church and religion, I knew there was something in the back of my mind, which I know now it was my soul pushing me out, okay, up and out. I knew that my spirituality was completely different than this religion that had been handed to me that I decided to adopt. Okay, I could have pushed it away, but I didn't. But it was handed to me. So, and I took it and embraced it and lived by it. It became a part of my identity. So when I left the church and when I left religion and started to really overstand how programming and indoctrination was still operating in my life, I knew I needed to allow myself to be completely free from that indoctrination. And so as I started to move through the dogma and release it, I started to feel agitated. Why? Because you may be thinking, well, if you're freeing yourself, if you know that you have been freed from indoctrination and dogma, wouldn't that bring feelings of excitement and elation and joy and all of those good things? But instead it was bringing me agitation. Let me tell you why. So here's what was happening. It seemed that as I would reach a certain point where I was moving beyond the dogma, clearing it out of my nervous system, clearing it out of my body, so that I can get to the truth of who I was, the truth of who I am, there would be something that would happen in my external environment that would trigger me to the point of being faced with more programming that was still operating in my nervous system. Now, by that point, I was coming into the knowledge and wisdom of how I am to practice my spirituality, which was rooted in ancient spiritual practices. And knowing that those ancient codes rested in my DNA, I was coming into that realization. And yet, I was having these external circumstances that were happening, and it would lead me back to some more religious dogma that I found that was still operating in my system. That's where the agitation would come up, because I thought, how in the hell am I going to be at a point where I can operate in my own spiritual science, operate in my own magic, operate in these ancient spiritual practices that I'm coming into the wisdom of, that is being shown to me, that is being expressed to me, all right? How am I ever going to be able to lay hold of this liberation if I keep having to face this religious programming? How am I ever going to get past this? Okay? How am I ever going to express all of that if I keep running into these, I was calling them limitations? When really, as an alchemist, as a spiritual master, you don't look at those things as limitations. They were opportunities, or are opportunities, for me to even embrace my spirituality even more. All right? So I want to say this to you. If you are experiencing this, and you are experiencing this right now, and you're saying, it seems like the closer I get to just being completely free and understanding my spiritual gifts, understanding what is aligned for my soul, something happens in my external environment, and I feel like I'm getting hurled back into the programming. You're not being hurled back into anything. Hear that first. First thing I want to tell you is relax. Second thing I want to tell you is work through it. Allow the processing to take place so that you can work through it, process through it. Keywords: relax and through. Let me explain this. As you work through the dogma, as you come face to face with how programming has influenced your behavior, your magic, because there's levels to your magic, there's levels to your spirituality. Each time you face dogma, you have another level of your magic that is revealed to you. What can this look like? And these are just examples that I'm going to give to you. You'll notice people, books, information will begin to come into your awareness that will be perfectly aligned with the way you are to practice your spirituality. It will be aligned with your spiritual gifts. It will be natural to you, the information that will come into your awareness. It'll feel like home. Nothing about your spirituality is going to be forced. All right? So, also what is happening, if you are experiencing, having that same agitation, what is really happening is, even when you don't feel it, or even when your external environment doesn't show it at the moment, you are making quantum leaps. You are making quantum improvements. You are experiencing quantum progress in your magic every single time you pull a programmed thread that has operated in your life. Quantum leaps you're making, regardless of how you feel, even if you are feeling agitated. Every time you face programming that has operated in your life, you need to celebrate that, because in that moment, when you realize that, you have now reached another level of operating in your spiritual mastery, in your spiritual elevation, and in your spiritual liberation. that is worth you celebrating. So that is why I titled this video, You Are Making Quantum Moves, because that is the reality. That is the truth. All right. So I want to give you that message. All right. Give you that download. Okay. Let this be a download for you. Let you watching this video is a part of your quantum progress into living a life that is full of spiritual liberation and magic and enchantments and creations and manifestations. All right. So I leave you with that. Don't forget, I provide one-on-one support. All right. To book a call with me, the link to do that will be in the description box of this video, along with the other resources that I provide. Okay. Along with all the videos on my channel. All right. So again, thank you for being here. And until the next video, cheers.